Greetings to each and every one of you. My name is Jessika Greendeer. I'm the seed keeper and farm manager at Dream of Wild Health. Today we're going to talk to you a little bit about hand pollination. Myself and my helper Shamira Caddo from the White Mountain Apache Nation will be hand pollinating squash and corn. We're doing a video hand pollination workshop, which is in place of our usual annual hand pollination workshop that we hold here at Dream of Wild Health every year. Due to COVID, we're not allowed to have in-person workshops at the time, but I hope this video is helpful.
Today we will be hand pollinating squash, and I will show you how to do that. Good morning everyone, my name is Shamira. I am the Seed Intern 1 here with Dream of Wild Health, and this morning I will be showing you how to hand pollinate squash. So the basics of hand pollinating is just to preserve the true seeds of the squash plant. And to do that, we do hand pollinating. So when you hand pollinate squash, you always want to make sure that the male flower that you're going to be using for the female is clipped or taped. So you know that no foreign pollen has entered the squash blossom. So you see right here, we clip this. Usually we would tape it, but if you don't have any tape, the best way to also do it is also with a clothespin. What you want to do is you pluck it off, maybe pinch it like that. And then what you want to do is you want to take it over to the female flower, which is this next plant right here. And so for the female flower, you want to have it also clipped, but just enough so you won't damage the flower blossom. So what you want to do is you want to remove the clip also. And then just gently open it up. Okay. And so for the female flower, we also want her clip also, so no foreign pollen will also get in there, which, foreign pollen meaning other breeds of squash, they can cross-pollinate with the true seeds of the squash plant. So we have the male flower, and what you want to do is you want to remove the clothespin from the male flower and just gently peel off the squash blossom. And as you can see, there is pollen. See the pollen on the anther. So what you want to do is gently peel off the squash blossom from the male flower. And now what you want to do is take it like a paintbrush and just put it on the female part of the squash blossom. And you want to make sure that the whole part of this squash is all covered with the pollen of the male flower. And you just want to keep brushing it on there until you see no more pollen on the male flower. And then as soon as you're done, you can re-clip the squash blossom or tape it. Just gently. And then that's it. Clipping it, making sure it's hand pollinated, that will ensure that it has the true seeds. And so this one will be saved for seed and hopefully grow next year or passed down a few generations from now. So the true seeds of the squash is what our ancestors have grown, and with the GMO fields and the nearby different varieties of squash, they tend to blow this way and then cross-pollinate with some of our squash. So hand pollinating does ensure that our squash has not been crossed with any GMO or other types of squash. So it just ensures that is the true seed of what has been grown for many years.
So first I'm going to show you what I call the human bumblebee method. When you're going to want to put your silk bag on the cob. So you can see there's no silks. You can take this and just slide it right over the cob. When identifying corn tassels or the male flowers to use for before you bag them, you're going to feel right here above the flag leaf, and it'll be soft or it'll be hard. Take the tassels, put them into your hand, and place your tassel bag over the top. All right, so one of the methods I'm going to show you today is called what I call the human bumblebee method. So the human bumblebee, essentially we're using our arms as wings and being able to tap our corn relatives. So this method, you'll take the corn tassel and you'll pull them over, lightly shake them over another plant, and then that pollen grain will hopefully hit the female flower or the cob and the silks of the next neighboring plant. The other method of hand pollination is sort of a new Western technique. This is something that I feel is very effective, but it's also not in line with indigenous cultural values. This method will have you take the pollen from one corn plant. So you'll shake the tassel into a bag. You can then take that bag and then put that bag onto another plant, or you can take the pollen from the bag, from many of the bags throughout the crop, combine them together, and then move some of that pollen onto the female cob. So the method that I do not use is after having the tassel bagged, you can take a knife or a snip and cut right here on the plant. And then you're essentially using it as a dust mop inside of a bag. Then you would take your silks and cut here too. That particular method is not only intrusive to the plant, you're cutting it, and then you're also cutting the silks. By doing that, you are allowing the pollen grain to go directly into the silks, but at the same time, the corn silk itself is medicine, and we also don't want to break the spirit of that corn. The third method of hand pollination that I shared with you is something I hope that you can all take and learn from my experience and not make the same mistake. That method of hand pollination was the first style that I had learned, and what had happened was the corn would cut me on my arms, and then one day the tassel, as I was pulling it down, shot pollen into my eyes, and my eyes had swelled up and almost glazed over for 2 days. And I thought that was the only way I could possibly hand pollinate corn, and so I continued to do it even though my instincts were telling me otherwise. But that was the last time I ever cut a corn plant and ever cut silks. So it's also finding something that works for you, but it's also wanting to make sure that if something doesn't feel right, don't do it. We have to remember that corn has been doing this a lot longer than we have. She knows exactly what she's doing, but it's trusting and having the faith in her to be able to do what she needs to do in order to help us sustain our own lives. Thank you for spending the day with us here at Dream of Wild Health. I hope this was beneficial to you and educational. Feel free to reach out to us if you have any additional questions. But until then, have a great day, happy gardening, and we will see you all again soon.